Every Saturday morning at 9, Ringside Radio brings you all of the latest happenings in professional wrestling, along with hard-hitting interviews with top-notch guests. That's Ringside Radio, right here, 1360 WNJC and WNJCAM.com. Every Saturday morning at 9, with the voice of choice, King Magnus, AC Smooth. Don't miss it. Saturday mornings, WNJC, Ringside Radio.
This is Ringside Radio. Right now, on the line, the original diva, Sonny.
Hey, guys, what's going on? I am the original diva of the WWE.
This is 1360 WNJC.
This is really where the wrestlers get to meet the fans.
The voice of choice, King Magnus and AC Smooth.
The best tag team in wrestling history.
I like the sound of that. It was nice.
This right here is the future of wrestling.
The voice of choice.
The most intelligent human being I had ever met.
Who's back now, boys?
This guy is a troublemaker. Pat Morita. Hell of a guy. Albert A.C. Smooth.
Is he the third man? He's the third man. This right here is the future of wrestling.
I never understood, like I heard the horror stories and I never understood why you would come back. And, you know, for a lot of the, the matches, like the match you had with Umaga, what made you come back for that match?
Well, I came back for a few matches even after that, but they were just for, in and right out. No contract, no nothing. So just in and right out. So I didn't mind doing that. So, and it was about the only place to go anyway besides the independent shows, and then it was to get more publicity anyway.
Okay. Your music, anybody that has followed you, they know about your music. Have you always been a music fan? How did you get started with the music?
Well, I started doing them myself about 8 years ago. I believe it's been about 8 years ago I started doing it myself, but I always did like music. Now I like a lot of country music, but I like a lot of pop too. So I like all kinds of music, and I try to sing all kinds.
Hey, Namar, I think we have some Kamala that people can see if they type in Kamala Sings on YouTube. Let's take a listen to this.
All the things that went on. I was just like the floor sweeper, the janitor, who you could just talk over his head, and it would never be picked up. But let me tell you something. I remember it all. You kept me broke when I know I put asses in the seats. But you paid your lovers, the one that go meet to meet. Your drug test a sham. You let who you want pass. Now, Steve.
Hey, Kamala, this is really good stuff. This is really good stuff, and I don't know if it's all fit for the air, but this is great for anybody that wants to hear your opinions on the business. It's an excellent video, and you have it on YouTube. You have it on your sites. I mean, it gives you a true reflection on the business, which I think most fans today that respect the business are going to want to hear. And James Harris, also known as Kamala. James, you're 60 years old now. Do you miss it? Do you miss the business? There's a lot of guys that are 60 years old and are still active in the business. We know a couple that are still active. Do you miss the business? Do you miss being involved?
I don't really miss it, and then again, I do miss it some, but not enough where I'm just sick of it, and just want to get back in it. I wish I had made money where I could retire and, just enjoy life, because that's what I worked so hard for all those years. But, I can't do it because I didn't make any money. And if I had made money, I would have invested in the right way, tried to anyway, and saved it. And, I could have enjoyed my golden years.
I know that the wrestling business has not been a wonderful thing for you, but it has afforded you the opportunity to travel around the world. You've seen all parts of the country and even on the international circuit. How is it for you, though, to be able to say that you have an action figure? Like, for instance, you were part of the original WWF action figure line that was produced by LJN. You had 2 figures. One of them is a highly collectible, depending on which version you have of the Hasbro line. And then you have a Jakks Classics figure, and you also have a figure that's on the shelf right now, and I see it all the time in Walmart. As a matter of fact, when I leave here, I think I'll go pick it up because I have all of your other figures, so I have to definitely get the new Mattel one. How is it to be able to walk into the stores, though? Because you can walk in any Walmart or Target right now and see a Kamala action figure as part of Mattel's WWE Classics line. How is that for you?
Well, when they first started making the wrestling figures with, in Miami, it felt real good to go in the store because I thought I was going to, make some decent money off. But that first one, I guess that was LJN, that first one.
Yep.
That they made around 87. I never got a dime from it. And all the rest of them that they came out with, I got very little money from. So I have got as low as $1.97 for 3 months. For 3 months, from the WWF, for my dolls. So I don't, to go in the store, I won't even go in that section because I just hate to see them on the shelf, and I don't get paid for them.
Kamala, we talked a lot about some of your good and bad moments in the industry. Namar asked you about your favorite people in the business. Who is, and besides Andre the Giant, who I guess you had some strife with early on and kind of worked through it, who was your least favorite person to work with aside from Andre over the years, and your years spanned about 20?
My least favorite, I don't. That's a hard question there because I enjoyed working with most of everybody because I got along so good with them. And even though if I have a bad match with some of them, they don't intend to do it, and they be real humble about it. So I can't. Then it could have been me, the cause to have a bad match. But I just don't. I don't know of any.
Hey, James, I have two more questions for you. One is, do you watch the current wrestling product, and what do you think about the wrestling business today, as from a standpoint? Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't even watch it. I don't even watch wrestling today. If I go to some of my friends' house, around here, and that's very seldom that I do. And if they watching wrestling, then I don't have a choice. And then most time I get up and leave, and because it brings back a lot of bad memories. But now, somebody, if I happen to be flipping the channel, and if I see them wrestling, then I stop and watch it, and that's the Undertaker. Yeah, I love his gimmick, and even though I was a long time before he was, I love his gimmick, and I like him. He's a respectable man, and I got along real good with him, and I just enjoy his work. But other than that, I wouldn't give a penny for the watch wrestling.
My particular final question, and then I'll end it off with Bruce. What are your thoughts? Like, how do you reflect on Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon, he have certain people that he'll pay, and the certain people that he get along with and party with, and they'll have to, like I said in one of my songs, if you get along with Vince, do him all kind of sexual favors, and and if you're in that kind of environment, then you get along good with him. You part of the the little clansman then. But if you just mind your own business, be there on time like I was, be there on time, mind your own, didn't never start no trouble, nothing like that, then he seemed to have less respect for you. That's just like all the drug tests and stuff like that. See, I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs, and I passed all of the tests and didn't mind taking them. But I know a lot of guys that, they didn't pass the test, but it was wrote down as they passed the test because, they was his top guys, and he wasn't, they never got fined, and I know what they did. Yeah.
James, I hate to go back to this, and you don't have to expand upon it if you don't want to, but you said, you mentioned the drugs, and we all know that drugs in wrestling persisted back in today, especially back in the 80s, but also today. But you said sexual favors, and I just want to ask you what do you mean by that? And again, you don't have to go deeper than you want to go, but what kind of sexual favors persisted back in those days?
Men's with men's. That's what I mean. Men's with men's, or young boys, and Vince got in trouble one time about it. He got in trouble. He had big money, so he paid his way out of it. They even called me asking me about it, so I just didn't have nothing to do with it, because it ain't nothing that I knew. And this was all what I had heard. So, anyway, that's what I'm talking about. It was just say for instance, look at the Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler. Why you think he been there longer than anybody? He been there longer than anybody. He's just 40-something years old.
Wow.
So, stuff like that. And then now it's a few things that I have seen, and but I just hate to go into details about that.
Now we'll leave it at we'll leave it at that. I don't want to take you down that road. But, I definitely think you're a true legend in the business. TheGiantKamala.com is the website. You can see all about James Harris, also known as Kamala. And James, you were a great guest. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and you're welcome back anytime. Anything that you want to get out to the fans, anything that you're trying to, any message that you're trying to get out?
Just buy my music and listen to my music. And I guess that's about it. I still write songs, and I sell songs, sell videos, and stuff like that. I'm doing videos now too, and it's all done at home. It's not professionally, but it's just homemade right here at home.
Right. TheGiantKamala.com, and you can see all about Kamala's music. Check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Google. A lot of good stuff. Very entertaining guy. And James, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Okay, thank you guys. Now, have a good day.
All right, have a good day.
Okay.
That is James Harris, also known as Kamala. And, man, very, very interesting things that Mr. Harris had to say about the business.
As a black man, it is very touching on a personal level. It really is, and it really hits home. And it's a shame, because I really liked his character, and again, a lot of people have had issues with his character. It really, some people think it set black people back, but even if you look past that, he still was an entertaining character. He was a great heel, but then you hear the horror stories, and it just takes you back. So it's like it was bad enough what he was portraying, but then it's seconded by the fact that how he was treated so unfairly, and it really is bittersweet. It was very painful to listen to, exciting because of who he is, but it is very sad. It had a touch of sadness to it. It more than a touch of sadness.
Yeah, it was very, very, very. It was a roller coaster of an interview. We'll say that. All right, guys, let's take a break. We're way overdue for a break, so let's take a break, and we'll come back on the other side. If you want to sneak into the program in the last 15 minutes, it's 856-227-1360, and the voice of choice is thevoiceofchoiceonline.com. We'll be right back on Ringside Radio.